Arsenal's pre-season is officially over, and oh boy did they end it in emphatic fashion, demolishing Sevilla 6-0, and in the process leaving Arsenal fans very excited. So why don't we break it down today and truly understand what we learnt from the game. Let's also discuss the transfer of Nuno Tavares and what Mikel Arteta had to say about more potential signings. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Babs14 and welcome back to your boys channel. I hope you are doing sensational, and if you're not, Arsenal won 6-0. What are you waiting for? Smash a like if you haven't already, subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you still want to be in a chance of winning the brand new Arsenal away kits, the winner will be announced on Monday and all the details of how to win it are down below in the description. But let's get into Arsenal versus Sevilla. Lucky enough to go to the game your boy was, and it was a sensational performance. 6 goals, 4 in the first half, goal after goal. I was getting bored of celebrating. This game taught us quite a few things, and the first thing for me is that the Arsenal attack has arrived. We are talking now 20 goals in 5 games for Arsenal in pre-season. 5 versus FC Nuremberg, 2 versus Everton, 3 versus Orlando City, 4 against Chelsea and 6 against Sevilla. Last season Arsenal somewhat improved going forwards, but still, comparing us to Spurs or to Liverpool or to Man City, we did not create anywhere near enough big chances or score enough goals. But in this game Arsenal created 8 big chances, 21 shots, I think 12 on target. It was a dominant Arsenal attacking performance, decisive, goals galore, and what we're seeing Arsenal do now is being fluid in the final third. Because you're not just seeing Gabriel Jesus play as a striker, but you're seeing Jesus drift that wide, rotate with Gabriel Martinelli. And this front three of Jesus, Martinelli and Bukayo Saka is looking very frightening, but not for us. And that fluidity is perfectly shown in Arsenal's second goal, where you find Jesus out wide on the left hand side, drifting inside and of course being that fox in the box and scoring a goal after combining with Granit Xhaka. On top of the pace, the dribbling, the quality and the decisiveness, the fluidity is going to make it so hard for opposition teams to mark our attackers, and it is something similar to what we have seen over the years at Liverpool with Mane, Salah and Firmino. We're also looking a lot more decisive in the final third. When Arsenal get the ball there, Martin Odegaard is pinging balls in behind, and the first Arsenal goal, the penalty, it is won because of a superb ball over the top by Martin Odegaard. And as Mikel Arteta says on Odegaard, I think he makes Jesus better and he needs a threat in front of him because he's a player that can find the last pass at any moment. When he's close or in open spaces, we need someone to make him look better, and the connection is already there. Martin Odegaard got a fair amount of assists last season and created the most chances from open play in the second half of the campaign than any other player. So now that we have a proper centre forward that moves in behind, that presses, that is tenacious like Jesus, I expect Martin Odegaard to get more and more assists, and likewise Gabriel Martinelli. Yes, for the third goal it's a massive error from the goalkeeper, but ask yourself why that happens in the first place, and that is because of Arsenal's aggressive press, where you see Martinelli darting towards the centre back, but also Gabriel Jesus' position, very underrated. He's cut off all the passing lanes, forcing the pass back to the goalkeeper, who simply was left with no choice either to kick the ball long and give the ball back to Arsenal, or try a risky short pass which was intercepted by Bukayo Saka. The arrival of Jesus has elevated Arsenal's press, but also evolved the way we attack, the fluidity, the understanding, and ultimately more menacing. And then you have Eddie Nketiah coming off the bench in the second half, scoring yet another goal, and it is another indication of the attacking depth that Arsenal have. The fact the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe, the likes of Fabio Vieira and Eddie Nketiah aren't guaranteed starters in this Arsenal attack. It's things that I love to see, that I've waited for a long time, and it looks like Mikel Arteta's attack has finally arrived. The second thing that we learned is the inverted fullbacks are finally here. Whether it's a 3 at the back, a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, the common theme is that all the elite teams, your Man Cities and your Liverpools, they have the exact same attacking patterns, and that is of course the formation of the 2-3-5. And in this game it was very noticeable that Arsenal deployed that, with Ben White and Zinchenko inverting alongside Thomas Partey. And the idea of playing inverted fullbacks is to keep the area very compact, so if you are to lose the ball, Arsenal would then be able to deal with counter-attacking situations. And that allows the likes of Xhaka and Odegaard to fully commit, allowing us to overload in the final third. And the profiles of Zinchenko and Ben White, especially Ben White surprisingly, is perfect for an inverted fullback. Because when you think about it, Ben White isn't the best 1v1 defender, defender, and as a last man he can do a job, but I think he's much better as the aggressor. He is at his best as a front-footed defender when he's allowed to intercept and really become aggressive. For an Arsenal side that wants to counter-press and sustain pressure, that is simply perfect. In terms of Alexander Zinchenko, boy oh boy, Kieran Tierney is in a bit of trouble. This is a player that is so technically secure, a player that has passion, that has understanding, and watching him play from the crowd, you're able to see how much of a communicator Zinchenko is, constantly giving his teammates advice, where to be, when to press. His understanding of playing with Pep Guardiola, the style of football that Mikel Arteta wants to deploy, it's going to be truly invaluable, and it seems like Kieran Tierney has got a real battle on his hands. I'm going to pose the question to you guys, that if Tierney and Tomiyasu are both fit and available, would you start them over Zinchenko and Danny Blanco, Benjamin White? On to the third thing we learnt, and that is Celiba is the real deal. When you nickname the Mbappe centre backs, the hype is always going to be real, but in this case, likewise is the player. 21 years of age, you would not have a clue watching him play. The surety, the calmness, the understanding of where to be defensively, and is surprisingly very good when it comes to dictating games and the tempo of the game. And that is not a surprise to anyone that watched Celiba play last season. He broke the record for most passes ever completed in a League 1 season. There's always been the debates in the Arsenal fan base that who starts out of Ben White and Celiba and Gabriel. It looks like Arteta has found a way where all three of these guys can play together without any sort of impact on the Arsenal attack, but definitely an impact on the attack of the opposition. On to the fourth thing, and are we a Champions League level team? I said this last season and I'm going to stick by it once again. If the Arsenal first team had remained available, you know, your Partey's, your Tierney's, considering how close Arsenal were to the Champions League without them for a massive part of the season, I think they would have cruised into the Champions League. But of course, injuries happen, that's part of football, but that first team that I believe was Champions League quality has just gotten better. With the arrival of Zinchenko and Jesus, players that suit the profiles, that have the experience, it makes the likes of Smith Rowe, Tomiyasu, Tierney, Fabio Vieira as examples. The fact that they cannot be seen as guaranteed starters is a massive upgrade already from last season. There are still a few areas of the pitch where Arsenal need that little bit more squad depth, but in terms of the majority of the rest, not only do Arsenal have quality first team players, but also a decent amount of depth. I believe it's of a quality that can get into the Champions League, and therefore it's a lot of pressure now on Mikel Arteta. We are now seeing the first proper 11 that he has signed himself, and that is why going to the stadium and speaking to Arsenal fans, there is almost now an expectation that Arsenal need to get into the Champions League as a bare minimum requirement. And personally, I totally agree. So my friends, after watching Arsenal in this pre-season, where exactly do you think Arsenal will finish in this season? And on to the fifth thing, and that is we are ready for Crystal Palace. Last season against Brentford, opening day, Friday night football, away from home, it was an absolute travesty, and it honestly was. Arsenal was simply not ready. Following Balogun was our striker, Pablo Mari at centre back, but Leno in goal. You had Callum Chambers out at right back. And those first three games against Brentford, Chelsea and Man City exposed that Arsenal weren't ready going into it. Odegaard wasn't signed, neither was Ramsdale or Tomiyasu. It gave the likes of Edu Gaspar and Arteta a chance to learn that going into this season, that Arsenal were able to improve that and sign their main players, a majority of their main signings. Not only have Arsenal thankfully so far avoided any injuries, but as Mikel Arteta confirms, the likes of Smith Rowe, Tomiyasu, Tierney and Fabio Vieira are also set to return for the game against Crystal Palace. There is a lot of optimism and, dare I say, confidence around Arsenal right now. The first team seems in place and we're scoring goals, we're winning games. But as great as it sounds, these are just friendlies and now the real deal starts. Crystal Palace will not be an easy game and Patrick Vieira is going to make sure that Arsenal are going to have a hard start. But at the same time, it is the perfect opportunity for Arsenal to show how far they have come. To go to a tough opening day at Crystal Palace and to potentially win that game. Looking into the games that Arsenal have after, of Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, Aston Villa at home and Man United away. The 4 games after Palace are really winnable and it gives Arsenal an opportunity to have a very good start to the season. Last year it was 0 points out of opening possible 9. How many wins do you predict for Arsenal to get? And more specifically, how confident are you feeling going into the game against Crystal Palace? Moving on to some Arsenal news. and starting off with some official confirmed breaking news that Nuno Tavares has completed a loan transfer to Marseille. The last that we spoke about this was that Tavares was meant to go to Atalanta, but since then a lot has happened. That move has collapsed, and now Tavares is officially a Marseille player until June 2023. As Fabrizio Romano confirms, it is a 1-year loan deal and Marseille will cover his wages in full, while there is no buy option included. Atalanta made a lot of sense, but likewise does Marseille. The fact their brand new manager Igor Tudor plays a back three and very advanced wingbacks is the perfect profile for Nuno Tavares. But Tavares is also going to Marseille, which, as we have seen with William Celiba, can be a very handy club when it comes to giving Arsenal players experience, growing them out and bringing them back to Arsenal as far more complete players. Tavares strikes me as a player that needs experience and consistent minutes. Hopefully Tavares gets that opportunity and comes back to Arsenal as a more complete player and maybe ready for the first team. The second bit of confirmed news is that Martin Odegaard is officially Arsenal's brand new club captain. For a very long time, Arsenal fans have known that Odegaard is going to be the brand new captain, and some fans agree, some fans disagree, but the fact that he's the captain of his country in Norway and Arsenal Football Club at 23 years of age, there is no surprise why that is the case and why Mikel Arteta trusts his player so much. If you're able to focus on Odegaard during the game, he's very vocal, he's very commanding, and the whole job of a captain is to be the manager on the pitch, and it looks like Martin Odegaard is that version for Mikel Arteta. That being said, I'm sure there will be a lot of opinions, so what's your thoughts on Martin Odegaard being confirmed as a brand new Arsenal captain? And finally, Mikel Arteta says, "We are still hoping to do something else if the market allows. You have seen some movement in the last few days as well. We want to get the perfect balance and the plan we wanted from the beginning." And I think that means that Arsenal are now waiting for opportunities. We have still got a very long time left in this transfer window, and as we get towards the end of it, you're going to see far more opportunities of clubs that need to sell players, and that might just be the prime time for Arsenal to come swooping in. But what about yourself watching this video right now? How many more signings do you think Arsenal need to make to solidify their chances of making it into the Champions League? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Smash a like if you do, subscribe if you are new. If you would like to follow me on all of my social medias, the links are down below in the description. But that was today's episode of the 5 things we learnt alongside some Arsenal transfer news and Arsenal news. 6 goals scored, sensational performances, and 5 days left until the start of the Premier League campaign. It's exciting, it's nervous, there's a lot of expectation, but let's see what Arsenal produce. Until then, take care of yourselves, keep smiling, and have a bit.